here happily. We've come to London, and we are here with you on the topic of simple living and high thinking. And here's Devashis Prabhu to introduce us. First of all, Devashis, maybe first of all, we chant Vandeham and to give obeisances to each other.
What shall I do? I do that?
Yeah. Yes.
Bandeham, Sri Guru, Sri Juta Padakamalam, Sri Gurum Vaishnavangscha, Sri Rupam Sagrajatam, Sahagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam, Sadvaitam Sadvadutam, Parijana Sahitam, Krishna Chaitanya Devam, Radha Krishna Padan Saha Gana Lalita Sri Vishakam Vitamscha, Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakoram Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So yes, welcome everybody this evening. The chosen topic was or is rather, Krishna consciousness, simple living and high thinking. Of course, this was a phrase often used by His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada used this phrase a lot. And of course, it is synonymous one with the other. And it doesn't necessarily mean that if you live a simple life that you'll have high thoughts, but it is very conducive to the cultivation of Krishna Bhakti to live simply and to utilize your time as much as possible to think highly, or to elevate your thought, your consciousness to a higher level, which Krishna consciousness, of course, does. And so I have found something that I wanted to read, which touches on this, but not directly, but some from the Revealed Truth by Srila Govinda Maharaj, his teachings from his conversations with the devotees. And so this is an extract from there. It's not the whole chapter, but I'll read it. I think it's very significant. If we realize the nature of our conditioned position, we will see that our weaknesses, that is, our material desires, are stronger than our spiritual desires. We sometimes surrender to our weaknesses, but only if we remain submissive to them forever will we be the loser. It is always necessary to take back our spiritual strength. These verses from Srimad Bhagavatam very nicely explain the procedure for this: faith, humility, tolerance, repentance, and service. Earlier in our life, it was not within my realization, but now I am realizing this very happy news for us. Parityage pyana ishvaraha. We cannot leave our internal enemies forever. From time to time, our internal enemies will disturb us. Sometimes we will be submerged in them. I can understand now that such immersion is for our purification, and that will not remain immersed in them forever. This is our position, and all we can do is try to not allow ourselves to always be a servant of our mundane desires, while we pray to the Lord for His mercy and try to engage in His service. Yogis try to control their senses and desires directly by restraining themselves through the process of yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi. But Srimad Bhagavatam says, Yamadibir Joga Patai, Kama Lobha Hato Muhu, Mukunda Sevaya Yadvat, Tata Madhya Nasangyati. It may be possible to temporarily control the senses and the effects of karma, lobha, and so on with the power of self-control and the practice of yoga, yama, niyama, and so on. But only the Lord's service can permanently control the senses and the flow of our desires. The devotional path is different from the yoga path. In the devotional path, desire, the senses, and their functions are controlled by engaging them in the Lord's service. In devotional life, the senses are automatically controlled through service. It is not necessary to try to control them ourselves directly in a pushing way. Rather, we must try to use the senses and our desires for the Lord's service and satisfaction. Srila Narottam Thakur has explained how we can properly practice this. Kama Krishna Karmapane Krodha Bhakta Dvishejane Lobha Sadhu Sange Hari Katha Moha Ista Labha Vinay Mada Krishna Guna Gane Nijukta Kariba Jata Tata. And this is from the Prema Bhakti Chandrika. Kama, Krishna Karpane. If you have many desires in your mind, then you can offer the things you desire to Krishna before you take them. Krodha Bhakta Dvishejane. If you feel angry, then you can use your anger to check persons who are inauspicious and envious of the devotees. Lobha Sadhu Sange Hari Katha. You can engage your greed in hearing the glories and pastimes of the Lord from the sadhus. Madda Krishna Guna Gane. You can engage your desire for intoxication in madly glorifying the Lord and his devotees. Moha Ishta Lobha Vinay. If you have not connected with your worshipable master, then you can try to realize why that is and can express your hankering in a bewildered way, like Raghunath Das Goswami. Srila Narottam Thakur advises us how to engage our internal enemies in Krishna's service. We all have desires that we are suffering from, but if we engage them in the service of Guru, Vaishnava, and Bhagavan with our full energy, then they will be controlled automatically. Everything we struggle with in our life can be good if we use it properly for Krishna's service. This is our hope. When our enemies, lust, anger, greed, and so on, come to us, we can invite them in. Come here and pay Dandavat Pranam to the deity. You are already coming, so come and offer yourself to the deity. The practicing procedure of Bhakti Yoga is very sweet. And finally, Vidyate Hridaya Grantis Chidyante Sarvasangshaya Kiyante Kasya Karmani Mai Driste Kilatmani. This is from famous verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 11th Canto. All of the material desires in our hearts will be removed. All our doubts will be finished, and we will engage ourselves exclusively in the Lord's service, seeing him everywhere. Such Bhagavat Darshan, divine vision of the Lord, is both very easy and very rare to attain. Tad dure, tad vyantike. The Lord is very far from us if we are not surrendered or dedicated, but the Lord is very near to us if we are surrendered and dedicated. Srila Saraswati Thakur understood everything about the position of the conditioned souls. He presented these teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam and Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhu in a very condensed form to make the essential nature of transcendental service very clear to us. he wrote, Sri Hari Sevaya Jaha Anukula Vishaya Baliya Tyage Haya Bula Ashakti Rahita Sambandha Sohita Vishaya Samuha Sakali Madhava. If any apparently material thing or desire can be connected with the Lord through devotion, or is favorable to his service, then it is a mistaken illusion to think that it is mundane or useless and renounce it. We must live without attachment to anything and connect everything to the Lord, feeling that the Lord is the actual proprietor of everything and we are his servitors. This is the consciousness needed to live in the transcendental service world. A genuine devotee has no existence where Krishna is not present. A devotee will always be connected with transcendental matters through the Lord's service and will never be involved in anything material. A devotee may live in the mundane environment, but he will take each step forward in his life thinking, just now, I may not have full realization of the transcendental world, but I am a natural member of that world. My real property exists there. I can proceed from a very low position within the illusory environment to a very high position in the transcendental environment by living in remembrance of that plane and my service there. Excuse me. Through Krishna consciousness, we can change material things into spiritual matters and feel the Lord's presence everywhere within the material world. With Krishna consciousness and the Lord's divine remnants, prasadam, everyone can cross over the illusory environment. Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhu's advice to be detached from the mundane is very important for us. We must always try to honor the transcendental form of everything, of the deity, the devotees, the Lord's prasadam, and so on, in a detached mood. We may lead any lifestyle. We may have family life, student's life, a master's life, any sort of life, but we must not be too attached to that. Even if we're a family man, we will have no difficulty with our family maintenance if we think that our family is a spiritual family. If we think in that way, no difficulty will come to us. Even if we lose everything materially, still there is no real loss for us, because we can always engage ourselves in Krishna's service, no matter what our material condition is, through proper consciousness. We will think that our children are spiritual children, and our flowers are spiritual flowers. Everything that we see, we will consider to be Krishna's mercy coming to us. Srila Guru Maharaj taught us in this way. We will change our vision and we will serve. Then anything we do will be Krishna's service, so long as we do not forget that it is for his satisfaction and not our selfish enjoyment. If we proceed in that way, then all benefit and no loss will come to us. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur showed us this mood. He prayed to the Lord. Tomara sangsare kariba sevana, nahiba falera bhagi, tava shuka jahe kariba jatana, haye pade anuragi. From Sharanagati. I will live in your house as a servitor of your family, and everything I do will be solely for your satisfaction. This is the mood of transcendental service. We must be very careful about maintaining the purity of that mood in our practicing life. Otherwise, we will cheat ourselves. It is not good to have too much affection for children. When children come into a family, they must be honored, and the parents must consider that it is the Lord's will and their good fortune that the children have come. But parents should not maintain their family with mundane attachment. They should not be overly involved in their family life. When we do something emotionally, It may sometimes bring us a good result, but mostly it brings us bad results. We have to avoid emotional activity and continue our lives with fully devotional activities. We must avoid cheating ourselves by carefully keeping our mood pure. I shall use whatever circumstances I find myself in for the service of Krishna. If we can properly maintain this mood, then we can maintain our lives in any ashram, brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, or sannyas. If we have a sincere mood of service and dedication, then there is no question about how we maintain our lives. There are many nice examples of this. Atmanivedana tuya pade kori, hainu paramashuki, dukkha durigela, chintana rahila, chodike ananda deki. Again from Sharanagati. By surrendering myself at your lotus feet, I have become supremely joyful. All sadness has gone away, and I have no anxiety. I see joy in all directions. This song from Sharanagati reminds me of my early life as a brahmachari, when I took shelter at Srila Guru Maharaj's lotus feet. How much was I dedicated? I forgot all of my material happiness and sadness, everything. So many things came to me, but I was dedicated to the Lord's lotus feet and very happy. I didn't think about my material lifestyle at all. I simply lived happily and easily according to Srila Guru Maharaj's orders. I didn't have a bed. I slept on a straw mat with a straw pillow. Sometimes red ants would bite me. I lived a very simple life and I didn't think about it much. In the mott, we would not buy any vegetables. We would cultivate our own fruits and vegetables in our garden and happily offer the Lord what we grew in our mott. We would not eat anything that we did not grow, except when we would sometimes buy some potatoes for Srila Guru Maharaj from the market. We had no heavy problems then. Our only disturbances would come from goats and cows coming into our garden. Gradually, our mott has become prestigious, and more facilities have come to us. But my early time in the mott was very tasteful. Now I am not getting that sweet taste of poor brahmachari life. Now, more disturbances have begun to come to our mott from the outside. But those are also sweet problems because sacrifice is our lifestyle. One of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's songs in Sharanagati explains everything for us very simply and sweetly. Excuse me. Tomara sevaya dukkha haya jata, seota paramashuka, seva sukha dukkha parama sampada, nashaye avidya dukkha. The suffering I feel in my life of service to you is actually my greatest joy. Both the happiness and sadness I feel in your service are my great fortune because they both remove the pollution of illusion from my heart. Purva itihasa bhulinu sakala seva sukha pe ye mane. Amita tamara tumita amara ki kaja aparadane. I have forgotten everything in the past now that I feel the great joy of your service in my heart. I am yours and you are mine. You are my master and I am your servant. Nothing comes between us. There is also a nice story about one of our devotees, a very rich householder devotee, who lost all his wealth, crores of rupees, because of his detached and surrendered mood of devotion to Krishna. During the proceedings of a court case he was involved in, he would go every day to worship the deity of Lord Krishna. Some government men and armed police had to accompany him, and because of this he had to spend thousands of rupees every day to maintain them. He lost maybe 2,000 to 5,000 rupees every day, due to the expense of the guards. Still, he would go daily to worship the deity. One day it was raining very heavily, and after traveling with him to the temple in the rain, one of the senior policemen asked him, "Oh, Mr. Sanyal, every day you come here to worship the deity of Lord Krishna. But what does Krishna give you? You've lost everything. You've lost nearly all of the nice things in your home, like your very nice carpet worth lakhs of rupees. You've lost your house and nearly all your wealth. You've lost everything. So why do you worship Krishna? What has Krishna given you?" Then that man, Mr. Sanyal, gave a very nice answer. I have never forgotten it. He said, "I am worshipping Krishna, but I do not ask Krishna to give me anything. Whatever Krishna decides to give me or not give me is his matter. I like Krishna. I have love for Krishna. Krishna is my heart and soul. Because of that, I come here every day to serve Krishna. It's Krishna's matter whether he will give me something or not. I do not ask Krishna for anything." The policeman was stunned to hear Mr. Sanyal's answer. I was also very impressed to hear this from him, because this is the style of devotion in the line of Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhu. The mood and mentality of the devotee is to relate everything with the Lord and his service. I smile because Krishna likes my smiling face. I dress myself in nice garments because Krishna likes to see them. I sleep so I can engage in Krishna's service. I sleep because Krishna likes my sleep. I cook because Krishna likes to taste my cooking. Whatever I do for Krishna, not for any other purpose. I like things because Krishna likes them. And if Krishna doesn't like something, it is not necessary for me to do it. I do not do anything which is not for the satisfaction of Krishna. Without Krishna, I have no existence. Sometimes great hope comes to us in our lives, and sometimes hopeless situations come to us. But we do not become frustrated in any way, and we do not leave Krishna consciousness. We only try to engage ourselves in Krishna's service. We cannot continue our lives without a roof, some shade, some pure water, some fruits and vegetables, and so on. Prabhupada Srila Saraswati Thakur has taught us how to accept all of these necessities of life with a devotional spirit by first offering them to Lord Krishna and then living on his remnants. Whenever we take anything, we must first remember that it is the Lord's mercy coming to us. Then we can maintain our lives exclusively on his remnants. This is the advice and style of Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Saraswati Thakur, Srila Swami Maharaj, and my Guru Maharaj. We are all their followers, and through their teachings and this practice, we can leave our mundane attachment behind and dedicate ourselves 24 hours a day to the Lord and his devotees in the transcendental service world. There we are. Some wonderful talk by Srila Gurudev. And I think it's just that sufficient for us. So Maharaj,
Yes.
back to you. Are you in the extended temple room now of Trivikram Maharaj's temple?
No, I'm not. I'm in what they call the Yoga Shala, I believe. And it's the existing fairly large, you can see behind me, fairly large hall, which used to be for yoga, but now is entirely for Bhakti yoga, for devotional items. And there's a new Yoga Shala. Again, I don't know the name of everything, the technical names or the new names, but just down the hill and out, it's on pillars, and it goes out from the hill over the valley, the hillside. and it's different shape than this. It's not as wide, but it's longer, and it's large and suitable. So there's one half of the ashram is for the yoga type of things under the guidance of Rohini Shakti, Devirasi, and one half of the ashram is basically the Chaitanya Saraswat Math daily program, the deities of Shri Guru Gauranga, Gauranga Sundar, Radha, Madana Mohan, and Giriraj and Balagopal. They are here. And the temple is being enlarged. And I could possibly show you from here that enlargement. But this is the yoga hall, and this is, or yoga hall, I don't know what it's called now, but this is where we have the programs at the moment, because the temple, although the deities are in the temple, there the worship takes place, and the kirtan morning and evening for the up until after the parikrama, but then the devotees come here and have the like the full morning program, the kirtans, seated kirtans, and the reading, because here it is all prepared. There it is still open, though Maharaj was promised that the windows would be in before we came, but hearing Srila Trivikram Maharaj's discussion about managing the workers, etc., it sounds quite like Bengal to get things done in village Brazil. Maybe those whose family is in Brasilia have a different experience, and that is the capital of Brazil. And I believe we saw Brasilia, by the way. I was watching out of the window with the map, and I think we saw Brasilia, but only as street lights as we came over. But that's the modern city. And I just walk over. And here you can see, hopefully.
Yes.
So the temple size was just where the dome is.
Yes.
Underneath that, and that was the altar and where the devotees gathered. But really, you could only get a handful, okay, maybe a dozen devotees maximum within there. But now you can see extensively extended all around, and also going out over the hillside on pillars. You can see the ashram, and they put those windows in yesterday, but they will change because the windows were not made according to Maharaj's instruction, and so they got to be remade. So we understand these challenges of construction. Yes. But otherwise, up here, this is all quite familiar to you, Devashish Prabhu, and to others, to Chaitanya Devirasi, to others who've been here. And Srila Gurudev came here. Okay, this is the other angle of the place where now all the programs are taking place. And I can't walk too far away from the internet, but so now we're outside. I may lose the internet if I go up the hill. But do you remember there was a cow or two were here and a goshala? But that goshala is now, and this is as far as I can walk really, you can see a long house behind you.
Yeah.
That is now what was the goshala. It's now 4 rooms, I think, each with a wooden fire. And this is the view across.
Oh, very nice.
And this is the view of the outside of this kirtan hall, we can call it, kirtan hall. And above, better not walk too far away. Above, you can see a house on the hill with smoke coming out of the chimney. It's a wood fire. We're right in the countryside. Don't worry about pollution. It's a wood fire. It's a little chilly up here. We're up in the mountains, but the wood fire makes it always cozy inside. And that house is where Srila Trivikramar stays. So he's up there in that house. And then other houses, again, I'm afraid to move too far. Probably this is as far as I can go. There's another house down there, difficult for
Yeah.
me to see,
Yeah.
with a
See.
pointed roof, and that's called Jatindra Bhavan, and the name was given by Srila Gurudev. And that's where devotees live downstairs, devotees live upstairs, and that's where the kitchen is, and where also not only the kitchen, but the prasadam hall is down there. So now you see where we are. But we came up from the city, one big city of Brazil, of Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo is definitely a big city. And we were there yesterday. We went down yesterday from the mountains to the big city for a program, very successful program in the city yesterday. Stayed in town and came up here today. So we came back a short while ago to be with you.
Very nice.
And simple living, high thinking, not simple living, sinful thinking. Many things rhyme, but we want to get the right rhyme.
Yes, indeed.
Simple living and high thinking. And it was the part, by the way, that you read about where Srila Gurudev is saying, oh, we're so happy in our young days when we just lived very simply, we had no needs, and even the red ants would bite us, and sleeping on just a simple straw mat on the floor. It was that part that I also was very keen to share, and you read that as part of the extended reading today. But Srila Gurudev, he would time to time, talk about those early days, and we also sometimes, time to time, talk about those early days when really, I mean, maybe we were naive. Well, we're still naive, but we joined the temple. We came to the temple. We did give everything. I mean, we did. Sorry to say,
Yeah.
and we gave everything. Came to Guru Maharaj, and we didn't know what the future was, except what is expected of me now. And we happily stayed under the direction of Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Gurudev. And that time, for not much, part of the time that I was in India, we were down at the Gauranga colony in the early and mid 1980s. And that also was called by the devotees the land of nectar. But that land of nectar, we had Gauranitai, and I hope they're still there and someone is looking after them, or at least someone is serving them somewhere. But Gauranitai were at the land of nectar. And myself and Dayal Nitai, one Bengali brahmachari, we had that service to worship the deity each morning and evening and give them some simple prasadam, whatever we ate to give to them. But down at the land of nectar, there was no electricity to anybody. It's not we did not have electricity.
Yeah.
That time the electric line had not gone there. But we all live, very happily. We just accept it. Okay, this is given to us as our saver place at the moment, and we adjust happily. And we learn many things about how to live without electricity and be happy, how to cook, how to have light, how to do many things. And we live very simply. And that land, they called the land of nectar, that land was being cultivated. And so we also helped to do the weeding and the keeping the land clean and around the banana trees, collecting the peanuts, collecting the tomatoes, doing various jobs on the land. And from there, produce would also come for the temple for offering to the deities. And from there, each morning, we come straight down to hear from Srila Guru Maharaj in the morning. And then we'll be doing seva in the main temple. But it was a very simple life, and we were happy. It does kind of reflect on how Srila Gurudev expressing, oh, how beautiful life. What a beautiful life, the life of a brahmachari in a temple. All of you devotees, the life of a brahmachari in the temple. Devashish Prabhu, the life of a brahmachari in a temple.
Yes, I also remember it. And happy times, definitely happy times, because the main thing was we didn't have any worries about anything. We didn't worry about where food was coming from, or paying the rent or anything. We just did our service and we were worry free. And then we make our lives complicated and thinking that we'll find more happiness there. But then, actually, we're just making, as the saying goes, making a rod for your own back. Actually,
A what for your own back?
A rod for your own back.
I don't understand, Prabhu.
Means
A
rod to beat your own back with.
Oh, your own back.
Yeah, a rod for your own back.
Okay, got it. Hare Krishna.
Anyway, everything is what it's meant to be, actually. But
and Kumkum Devidasi may not still be with us, I'm not sure, because she had an appointment. But she did come up with something. She heard the title. Somehow she knows the title for today, Simple Living, High Thinking. And she said, actually, Krishna in Bhagavad Gita is giving us also the clues. And in chapter number 2, she selected verses 61 to the end, which is just maybe 10 verses. And so today, by the way, I've heard Srila Gurudev chant the first 7 or 8 chapters fully of Bhagavad Gita while we are driving here from the big city up into the hills. And it's so wonderful to hear Srila Gurudev chanting the Sanskrit. And because we have read the Gita quite a few times by now, it's not that we follow everything, but we know what's taking place in the conversation with Krishna and Arjuna. So anyhow, so here from Bhagavad Gita, Kumkum's selection. So I can begin as Srila Gurudev begins when he reads Bhagavad Gita and say, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And then he did chant the invocation to the Gita. But then let us come, I'll read simply the translation, and it's from the Hidden Treasure of the Sweet Absolute, Bhagavad Gita edition of Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Gurudev. So Krishna is saying to Arjuna, devoted to me, the Bhakti yogi brings his senses under proper control. Firmly established is the wisdom of one whose senses are controlled. But one whose thoughts dwell on the objects of the senses becomes attached to them. From attachment, desire is born, and from desire, anger arises. Krishna is telling this. No, we think, oh, is it so? Is it so? But Krishna is telling us it is so. Anger gives rise to delusion, and the power of delusion causes forgetfulness. Forgetfulness destroys the intelligence, and when the intelligence is lost, one loses all. But the integrated person who can control his mind at will, and who, free from attraction and repulsion, accepts his worldly necessities through his controlled senses, attains tranquility. When one attains a peaceful heart, all his sorrows are dispelled. The tranquil person's wisdom swiftly becomes steadfast. And then, a person bereft of self-control can have neither wisdom nor meditation. Without meditation, there is no peace. And without peace, where is the hope for happiness? Actually, that's where she suggested to end, but there's, I think, just 4 more verses, very few. And Srila, and Krishna, Sri Krishna, is continuing the theme just to make the point clear. As a boat on the ocean is thrown off course by an unfavorable wind, similarly, the wisdom of a person lacking self-control is carried away by even one of the roaming senses that the mind might follow.
Mm.
Therefore, O subduer of the enemy, Arjuna, one whose senses are fully withdrawn from their objects is a person of firmly established wisdom. Then the classic expression, that which is day for the self-controlled sage is night for all beings, and that which is day for all beings is night for the sage who sees. As the ocean remains full and unchanged, although many rivers and streams enter into it, the person of firmly established wisdom attains peace despite all desires entering into him. But a person who nurtures desires cannot know peace. Only a person who lives his life abandoning all desires, hankering, ego, and possessiveness can know real peace. O Partha, this is realization of the Absolute, attaining which a person is freed from the delusion of mundane existence. Even at the time of death, only a momentary attainment of this state leads one to the divine abode. And iti Shri Mahabharate Shata Sahasyam Sanhitayam Vayashikayam. No, Vayashikyam. Bhishma Parvani Srimad Bhagavad Gita Shu Panishatsu Brahma Vidya Yang Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Juna Sangvade Sankhya Yoga Nama Dvitiyo Jayaha. Thus ends chapter 2, the constitution of the soul. Hare Krishna. So Krishna is telling clearly, Gurudev is telling clearly, and recently everybody knows it was Nrsingadev's appearance day, and his appearance was to show the glories of his devotee. And I hope all of us here were hearing his devotee, Prahlad Maharaj's instructions to his school friends, his prayers to Lord Nrsingadev to pacify him, and what he learnt in the womb from Narada Muni. And all of this is echoing the similar understanding, the similar train of thought. So everybody wants peace, everyone wants actually a simple life. Here, I know it's a London Zoom, but here we're in Brazil. And down in the valley is the city, or I don't know, it's not a city, it's a town, called Campos do Jordão. And it's just been Saturday and Sunday, as it was with you. But Saturday and Sunday, the city is very busy because people come from the cities, and both Rio and, both Sao Paulo and probably Rio, maybe a little far, but they're both accessible from here, to here rather. And so people come from the city, from all the buildings and all the traffic and everything which is going on, very passionate. They come here to taste some simple life for a weekend and then go back to their passionate life. But those who have wealth, those who have all the luxuries of the city, they're coming to a simple place. And they're coming to see the mountains, breathe some fresh air, get some exercise. and this way have something which everybody can have, which is a few hours of simple life. But if we can make 24 hours a day our simple life, uncomplicated by the material desires and the material kind of things which we think are necessities, but can instead minimize our material necessities and maximize our devotional engagement as far as we can, then simple living, high thinking, we'll be able to utilize this brain and this heart, which both have like limited energy in this life. We can use our willing, feeling, thinking. We can use all this in something higher than just paying the bills and being fully absorbed in the material consciousness. But don't forget, until 200 years ago, everybody lived a simple life compared with what we have today. Everyone wasn't Krishna conscious. So just to go back to the simple farming life is not the solution. The solution is to put Krishna at the center, chant the holy names, and to adapt to whatever environment we are in with the simple attitude. And was it Vasudev Ghosh in the Ketan Jadi Gaurana Hoto? There he say, chant the glories and the name of Gauranga, chant the Gauranga's qualities, and keep your heart simple. No need to be very complicated. Simple heart. Hare Krishna. And in Prahlad Maharaj's prayers, by the way, which are almost fresh in our mind because we've all been hearing them over the last 2 or 3 weeks, then he's also saying, wherever we have been put in the world, whatever is our place of activity, as well as the activity, wherever we are in the world, that's as it is. It's come by our previous desires and previous activities. But wherever we are in the world, and whatever age we are, whatever capacity we have or don't have, then from where we are now, we must turn our ambition, our focus to the Lord, satisfy Him, do everything in remembrance of Him. Keep our life simple and uncomplicated. Simplify our life if necessary. But we need to cultivate Krishna consciousness, whether we are with many worldly responsibilities or very few. And Guru Maharaj also said that it is a matter of capacity. One person can rule a kingdom and have quite sufficient time for his family. And another person just struggles to provide for his family and has no time to play with the children and take them on outings, etc. So it all comes down to capacity. What is simple for one may not be so simple for another. What is complicated for one may be simple for another. So just a few thoughts along the way. And few thoughts along the way. And I could read something. Oh, you read this. You read this?
I don't know. Did I? I don't know what it is that you're looking at.
I selected some things here, but I think okay, you did not read. Okay, this next part. So excerpt 4, for those who have forgot the translator's sheet here, the possible quotes. Excerpt 4 is Srila Guru Maharaj. And here's, okay, this is extremely short. We don't want to read a lot more at this time, but here's an extremely short excerpt. And it's from a book which is familiar to us all, almost all of us here. Search for Sri Krishna, Reality the Beautiful. And this book by Srila Guru Maharaj perhaps is the most translated of Srila Gurudev's books throughout the world. And certainly it's in Portuguese, it's in Chinese, it's in Russian, it's in Ukrainian, it's in Spanish, Italian, anyway, many languages. Srila Guru Maharaj is saying, and now this is just very clear, very clear. I'll try to read it clearly so that you can feel it clearly. Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Raka Sridhar Goswami Maharaj saying, this, where we live, is a suicidal civilization. We are just doing things to die. So it's a suicidal civilization. The whole civilization is rotten to the bottom. They are exploiting nature for the apparent good of human society, but it is incurring a loan from nature that must be paid to the farthing with interest. Farthing means to the cent, for regular, for the modern world. Must be repaid to the cent with interest. And then talking about the materialists, well, the scientists and us, because they do not believe this, they will have no relief. They will be forced to clear the debt. Nature won't forgive them. Nature is there like a computer calculating. So this civilization is anti-civilization. The whole thing is rotten, a camouflage, a treachery to the soul world. But our policy is different. Plain living and high thinking. Our policy should be to make the best of a bad bargain. Somehow or other, we have already come here, so now we have to utilize our time and energy in such a way that with the least exploitation, we can get out of this world. So again, that theme of minimizing our mundane needs, in other words, plain living, simple living, but using our energy, which we see our energy can be used for so many mundane, very clever things, amazing things, by using our intense energy for inventing, all kinds of things. We saw bridges yesterday in Sao Paulo. Look at this. What man can do to make bridges, what to speak of, the airplanes and the like, and computers and telephones, all these things. And also, we can have more and more luxurious armchair and sofa and thicker carpeting and double glazing, triple glazing. But whatever has come to us readily, we should try to live accepting whatever is already come to us and give our attention not on getting the thicker carpet or triple glazing or the other things. We've got what's needed for a shelter and for food. Now we can maintain that in Krishna consciousness, but use that energy that we have, that the humans have, that we have for doing things, to use that for the upper journey, the upward journey. And this is chanting Hare Krishna, making our life as an offering, sharing the gift of Gauranga with others, introducing others. Everybody's wanting joy and eternity. And as the Gaudiya Darshan, the latest Gaudiya Darshan, produced and printed by Devashis Prabhu in London for the 40th anniversary, shows, there is one article there by Srila Govinda Maharaj, says, and maybe the title is Invitation to Joy and Eternity, something like that. A beautiful article. Invitation to eternal joy, perhaps. So this is the invitation, and that what will be very helpful will be plain living, simple living, and high thinking. So here we are together for that purpose, to share the good tips, and the good tips from our masters, from Srila Gurudev, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada. As you all know, I do believe. Hare Krishna. So as usually happens, I put out lots of seats in the chair if anybody wants, and nobody turned up. However, I do see our Brazilian devotees on the Zoom. So one thing is everyone is busily doing something, which is also very wonderful. It's a big ashram here. So when I put down seats, nobody comes. If I don't put any seats down, just think, okay, I'll just arrange and sit for myself. Then devotees come and there's nowhere to sit. So, but I see devotees are here on the Zoom. So to each of you who are on the Zoom, we're very happy that you've joined from wherever you are in the ashram. A little like Navadip. We've got different places where the devotees are. And in London, Lavanyamoy Devirasi also joined, and Rasamoy Pandit has been with us all the way through. Hare Krishna. So Devashish, I think I hand back to you. And
yes, Maharaj.
With my obeisances to everybody, my appreciation to everybody, and happily here to serve and available as much as possible.
And I think I saw in the chat somebody, Krishna Kesava Prabhu, asking if they can get a copy of the Gaudiya Darshan. And yes, the answer is yes, of course. So you can drop me a text or a message or an email or whatever you want, and we can arrange to the London Mott, and yeah, we can arrange that. Happily arrange that. So
if you come to Brazil, I have a few copies here. Campus de Jordão until before Wednesday, and then we have some copies here. Oh, good. Yes. Okay, in the chat, Harigo Papa was asking which chapter. That was chapter 2. Oh, yes, then Brajanath was given us. Chapter 2, text 61. Oh, he's put in the Russian. Thank you, Prabhu. Very good. And from there onwards.
All right. Very good. Jolly good. And only left to say our obeisances to everyone, and our special thanks to Srila Madhusudan Maharaj for always being here for our spiritual benefit, and our obeisances and glorification of our Gurudev, Jam Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sunda Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Jam Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Jam Vishnupad Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai, Jai Om Vishnupad Bhagavan Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai, Rupanuga Gurubhagya Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Oh, and of course, we must remember Bhakti Vijay Trivikram Maharaj Ki Jai, and all the devotees assembled with us today, and who may also hear this later on, the recorded version of this. And of course, all glories to all the world devotees as well. My humble obeisances to you all. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubheva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
And Jai Shri Devashish Prabhu Ki Jai, London Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai.